You ever wonder why some people seem to have all of the answers? Like some people seem to get to the end destination quicker than others. Some people seem to have this divine process by which they follow that allows them to attain success faster than most individuals. Well, stick around because in this video, we're going to go over the divine process that you need to follow in 2024 to help skyrocket your real estate investing career. Now, the reason why I know that this process works is because this is the process that God introduced to us in Genesis chapter 1. Okay, this is the process by which God created everything from nothing. And it's the same process that you can use to create your real estate investing business from seemingly nothing, using the resources that you already have, the tools that you already have, and the ability that you've already been blessed with. We're over 30 days into the new year. Most of us, we set New Year's resolutions that we may or may not be on track to accomplishing in 2024. Many of us had this ideal that it was going to be new year, new us. Well, it's new year, same us. But the thing is that we have to learn how to become the person that does the thing to have what it is that we want to have. It's the be, do, have motto that Myron Golden talks about so much, that he got from Genesis chapter 1. This is what God instructed us to do as human beings when he created us to take dominionship over this earth, to constantly be becoming something more than what we were previously, constantly be developing ourselves and improving on our previous skills and our previous knowledge, our previous wisdom, so that we can become the people that will do the things that are necessary for us to do to attain the outcome or the goals or the wealth, the notoriety, or the level of achievement that we desire. What does that mean for you in your real estate investing career? That means that you have to become the real estate investor that does the things that are necessary of a real estate investor to get properties under contract, to get properties closed, and to create generational wealth for you and your family members. That means that you have to become the person who, aside from all of the other challenges that are going on in our day-to-day life, that is willing to get up, say, today is a new day. This is the day that the Lord has made. Today is a new day, and I am going to arise to the challenge of becoming more today than I was yesterday. I really took a lot of information for this week's live call from Genesis chapter 1, and mainly because I've been studying it for the last couple of days, and something really stood out to me after studying it over these last couple of days. It's the fact that God followed a process during his creation story. If you go back and you read through it, you'll see that on the first day, the heaven and earth was here and it was without void. God created the heavens and the earth, and then he saw that it was good. If you pay attention at the end of every single day, God did the activity. He created what he created for that day, and then he saw that it was good. And I had to think about this. Why did God have to go back and see that his creation was good? Why did he feel the need to validate that what he created was good? Because he's the all-powerful God. Of course it was good. We, after reading the Bible, know that whatever he created is good, but God went back and he checked to make sure that what he created was good. And what does that mean? That means that in your real estate investing career, we've talked about being able to take a moment to go back and reflect on the things that you've done in the past, the things that have gotten you to where you are now. God has already shown us that that is something that we were supposed to be doing, right? At the end of every single day, he went back and he reflected on what he created for that day. He saw that it was good, and then he moved on to the next step. We have to see that what we created for today was good, and then move on to the next step. If we skip that reflection period, then we have no idea what the next step is. How do I know that it's time to create the animals if I don't know that, if I didn't look to see that the dry land was dry land already? You know, what good would it be to have animals on in swampland that aren't supposed to be in swampland? God checked to make sure that his creation was good. He checked to make sure that the seas had separated, that the land was dry, that the animals were being created before he brought man into existence. He checked to see that his work was good. We have to check to see that our work is good. We have to constantly be reevaluating the processes that we're taking. As a real estate investor, as a wholesaler, you have to constantly be reevaluating the things that you're doing, right? And then on the ideal of becoming, right, we are to become more. So as we continue to progress day after day, We should not be the same as we were before. If you are a real estate wholesaler and you're still only thinking about being a real estate wholesaler, you have some more becoming to do. You have to become the person who sees yourself as a real estate investor, because wholesaling may not be around forever. You understand what I'm saying? Throughout the country, there are several local municipalities and several states that have it out for wholesalers. The wholesalers have a bad stigma right now. If you're the wholesaler who is only looking to be a wholesaler, the chances of you getting caught up in the whirlwind that consumes the rest of the wholesalers whenever legislation does come around is very, very high. And then you're going to be you're going to be the person stuck trying to pivot while everyone else is trying to pivot. And I don't know about you, but it's hard to change directions on your own. Imagine trying to change directions in the midst of a herd. Mm-hmm. Somebody's going to get trampled. Somebody's going to get ran over. Somebody's going to get hurt. You want to be the person who is able to move with the time frame. Watch this video the other day. Again, it was another Myron Golden video. And he was talking about companies that have failed and why did they fail. And I thought it was very, very interesting to understand the idea that many companies fail because they see themselves in the wrong arena. Many companies fail because, you know, the train companies didn't buy cars and airplanes because they didn't see themselves in the transportation business. They saw themselves in the train business, right? He said that Netflix beat out Blockbuster because Blockbuster saw themselves in the DVD business, not in the multimedia business. If they had to start streaming services before Netflix and Redbox came about, they would have potentially outlived the switch. But because they were stuck in a time frame and not looking to reinvent themselves and not constantly looking back to see, is this good? Are our rentals good now? Are we getting all our movies back? Are the movies coming back in good enough condition for us to send them back out again? Right? These are all things that they could have done before they went bottom belly up, and they could have still been around. What are the things that you have to do in your real estate business to keep you relevant and to keep you on top of your game? You know, it's ironic because even performers, right? You'll hear a music artist, and no one likes the music artist whose songs still sound the same 5 years, 10 years down the road. If every single one of your songs sound exactly the same way they did when you first started, chances of you having a long career as an entertainer is slim to none. Who goes to listen to a comedian tell the same jokes over and over and over again? Who goes to see a blockbuster hit where the actor plays the same role over and over and over again? We like people with range. We like artists with range. We like movie stars with range. I don't want to go and see Denzel only be serious. I want to see that Denzel can be funny, that he can be in an action movie. He can cry on demand. Those are the things that give him range and allows him to take on so many different roles, because when the audience palette switch and we are all in this moment where we want to see something patriotic, guess what? He can assume a role of a patriotic person because he has range. Mm-hmm. So as real estate investors, we have to have range. We have to be able to bend and I guess flex with the times. We have to be able to get on board with the changing eras. And the only way that you're going to do that is by constantly reevaluating where you are versus where you're trying to go. Be, do, have.
Yeah, and I like to always just kind of say it's the pivot. How quick can you pivot? Can you pivot faster than everybody else can? Are you waiting for everybody else to figure it out before you start to try to figure it out? You know, and I think when you said Blockbuster, that was really Blockbuster's problem, was that they didn't pivot. I remember when we had Hollywood Video and Blockbuster, and Hollywood Video was the first to go, then Blockbuster, because Blockbuster was bigger. But I remember I made the transition to Netflix because they were mailing out the DVDs. I'm like, oh, that's way too easy. But had they started doing the exact same concept or a variation of it, you know, they really could have done a lot better. But just like Netflix no longer sends out the DVDs to your house anymore, and they could have easily been taken out by Redbox.
That's true.
Because Redbox, you can go right up to Walmart, wherever you live, and you can go right to the Redbox and you can go grab a DVD right then and there.
Yep.
So I think it's seeing the companies that are able to pivot, that are able to make those changes at the right time. When they see that the times is changing, they make the change before the change encompass them. So I really do think that was one. Guys, there's so many companies out there that have just like completely disappeared.
Yeah, and not only ones that have already disappeared, but there's so many companies that are going to disappear. There are companies that will not make it to 2024 because they are not willing to pivot, and they think that they are in one arena when they are in a different arena. Coca-Cola is still around because they're not in the soda business. They're in a refreshment business. You look at Coca-Cola, they have vitamin water. They got Aquafina. They got
Dasani.
Dasani.
Yeah.
They have all of these different brands that they put their name on.
When we went to that the Coca-Cola factory or whatever, or what was it? It wasn't the museum or whatever, but they had
in Atlanta.
And their Cokes are all different in different countries. So you go get a Coke in Mexico, it's going to taste a little different than it does here. Secondly, the lime is super popular in Mexico, so they push the Coca-Cola lime. They change in flavors. They're saying current, and there is always a new flavor with Coke.
They're always experimenting. But here's the thing: they don't experiment and then not track the results.
Yeah.
So they experiment and then they check to see if it was good.
I mean, how many times have you been mad that Coke got rid of that favorite drink you like? You're like, man, oh no, it's got to stay around forever. Like, I love this flavor. And you might only be the only one who truly love it like that, but you might get lucky enough that you might find a flavor that everybody else likes too. I remember Crystal Pepsi came out years ago. Remember when they tried to bring it back?
Yeah.
Like, so the thing is, it's like, if you look at how these companies are, what they're doing and how much they make changes, how they're trying new things out, they're seeing what works, they're doing A/B tests. So that's when you have two different things and you're trying to see which one is going to do the best. And I think that we have to make sure that we're doing the same thing in our own company. So you need to make sure in your own business that you're testing things out, that you're seeing what's working and seeing what's not, being up to date with what is changing. As when the market's on its rise, sometimes there's different strategies than when the market tanks. But it doesn't mean that you're no longer an investor. It just means that you had to pivot into a different strategy. And that's why we always talk about having to make sure that you have the correct strategies and having multiple tools on your tool belt. So making sure that you have multiple different strategies that you're able to take advantage of.
I enjoy that. This is one of my favorite topics to talk about because it is really the backbone of any business. We're talking about real estate investing. Yes. We're talking to real estate wholesalers as well. Yes. However, this is the key for all businesses. We all have to be able to flex and overcome things, right? So let's get back to Genesis chapter 1 though, right? Because I wanted to point out something else with Genesis chapter 1. It is key to note that during creation, God didn't haphazardly just start creating things. I like to believe, that God is so powerful that he could have just created everything in one day, and he could have spoke one long phrase and had everything come into existence. Mm-hmm. However, he took a process, and I don't know necessarily that he took that process for himself as much as I think that he took that process for us to show us the proper way to create, right? And it was a very structured and deliberate process. He created one thing, and then the next thing, and then the next thing, but each thing built upon the other. Mm-hmm. He didn't create the roof of the house before he created the foundation of the house. He didn't create the walls of the house before he drew the design for the house. The design was already there. He already knew what he was going to create. He already had a vision of what he was going to create, and then he started with the foundation. And then he reinforced the foundation. Then he built up the walls, and then he added some electrical, and then some windows, and then the roof, and then the tile, and then all of the other little extra added ins that we add into a house to make it feel homely. That is how the creation process worked, and that is how our business worked, right? So, you know, there was light and then the separation of day and night. Sometimes we find ourselves in the dark. In our business, we don't know where we're going. We don't know which way is up. And we're always looking for the light at the end of the tunnel. But sometimes the light is so far off that we think that there's no light at the end of the tunnel. But I want you to think about it like this, right? If you were in a long hallway and I was standing at the end of the hallway with nothing but a little small light telling you to come to me, from a distance, that light will look very, very, very small. Particularly, might almost look just like a little dot. It's kind of like stars in the sky. You know, you look up at a star, the star looks so small. But the closer you get to it, the bigger it begins to get. And before you know it, you find out that the light that has been guiding you the whole time is a supernova. It was a massive floodlight that I had at the end of the tunnel, but because you were so far away from it, it felt like a little small speck and you couldn't get to it. We have to continue to seek after the light because every day is a new day that we have to start over. You know, I thought it was, I also don't think that it's ironic that, you know, days went from evening to morning, right? At the end of the evening, at the end of the evening, at the end of the night before we lay down, because that's the rhythm that we are on, as you know, in this world. At the end of the day, we should take time to reevaluate what was successful about our day, right? And if we start to do that, we can almost guarantee that our next morning will be even better. Now, if you're anything like me, you might be one of those people that you wake up in the morning and you have a hard time remembering what you were working on the day before, especially if you had a lot of stuff you were working on. You may have a hard time um, coming up with what your next step is. What should I do today? And in some cases, we'll start doing something completely unrelated to the thing that we've already done. And then we just stop our momentum. We stop our process. We stop our forward movement towards the goals that we have for ourselves. In the creation story, we find that God didn't do that. From day 1 to day 2 to day 3 to day 4 to day 5 to day 6, he followed his process until he got to the end, which was the creation of man, right? Day 7, he rested. He didn't rest on, it didn't say that he, at the end of the day of day 1, he rested. He moved right on into day 2. He reflected and then he moved on. He reflected and then he moved on. That's what you need to do. Reflect, move on. Don't dwell. Don't dwell on what happened in the day before, but make minor adjustments. And before you know it, you make enough minor adjustments. They become major adjustments that then really align your business to where you're trying to be. So if you're looking to be, again, real estate investing, if you made phone calls yesterday and none of the phone calls panned out, go back and listen to the phone calls that you made if you can. Mm-hmm. If you don't have the means of listening to the phone calls, look into getting it. There are free ways that you can record phone calls. There's always a free way to do something. The free way is not necessarily the easiest way. Sometimes we like to say that because everybody's looking for something for free, we have this misconception that free means easy. Free typically means hard, and
it's free for a reason.
That's true, right? Mm-hmm. And I like using an analogy, so bear with me, right? Let's say we're taking a road trip. We're going from Nashville to New York City. You got 3 modes of transportation. You can either take the car, you can ride a bike, or you can walk. I don't know how many of you guys, drop it in the comment which one you rather do, but I'd rather take the car. I much rather take the road trip in the car than have to bike it or walk it. But here's the thing though, walking it is free. I can walk wherever I need to go, and it only requires me to have the ability to move my legs one step in front of the other. And I eventually would get there. As long as I don't.
It might be a couple of weeks or a month later, but you'll get there.
Exactly, right? Everybody will probably agree that they'd rather take the car. Mm-hmm. But guess what the car is going to do? Oh, the car is going to cost you some money, though. Because, see, now you got to put gas in the car. You may have to put tires on the car. You may have to
get that oil change.
Yep.
You got to have, little gas money. You need, it could be a multitude of things. Yeah.
All different types of things, wear and tear. There's added cost that comes with the convenience of being able to take the road trip in a more comfortable manner. rather than walking it or, biking it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, biking it, I'll get there faster than walking it.
Yeah,
I'll get there slower than taking the car,
that's true.
but it's gonna cost me a little less to bike than it would to drive, but it's gonna definitely save me on the amount of stress on my body compared to walking.
Yeah.
When with real estate investing, it's the same. You can take a slow route to get somewhere. You can watch every single video on YouTube about real estate investing until there's no more free videos for you to watch. And the only thing that you would have spent is time. But here's the thing, that time you can't get back, right? You can spend, or you can find people who already have the information, absorb the information that they have, and then leverage their experience.
Mm-hmm.
Partner with people. Find people. If you don't have a car to get to New York, maybe you need to catch a ride. I know that we don't hitchhike like people used to do, but find a friend who has a car that's going the same direction or that's going similar direction. Maybe you don't get all the way to New York, but you can get from here to Ohio, and then from Ohio, you just got to get the rest of the way. We're always looking for a easy solution to things, but sometimes there's not an easy solution. The only solution is for us to do the things that we have to do and then become the people that we have to become. So I did write down a note, filling the void. God filled the earth with the sun. He filled the firmament with the sun, the moon, the stars, creatures from the sea. He filled the earth. There was creatures on the in the air. He put creatures on the land, and then he started culminating humanity. He created man and woman. And in business, this translates to populating your investment. We all want to get to the end and have the glorious outcome, but sometimes you have to take the steps that happen before that. You have to become the person that makes the videos to put out on YouTube in your local market that you're going to be buying properties in, so that people know who you are. So when you call them, they're not confused about who is on the phone with them, right? So yeah, you make one video and then one video doesn't do well, and then you stop making videos because you say this is a waste of my time. The waste of your time is stopping doing something that could prove to be valuable for you in the long run. Some of you guys, some of us need to, some of us could benefit from creating a couple of niche videos. YouTube is free to post videos. If you are a real estate investor and you don't have a YouTube channel and you're looking to buy properties and you are not making videos talking about how you buy properties or how you're looking to buy properties in a certain area, then you may be costing yourself time, which is more valuable than the money. All right. You can put free videos out on multiple platforms. You can put the same video out on multiple platforms. So you only got to really make one video and just put that video out on multiple platforms. You should have a video on your website talking about what you do as a real estate investor. If you are a fix and flipper, you should have a website talking about the properties that you fix and flip. If you have not fixed and flipped a property yet, but you are planning to fix and flip a property, you should have a website and a video talking about the type of properties that you are looking for your fix and flip property. Regardless of what level you are at, you should have a website, because websites are free. You can get a free website on Google Sites. You can get a free website. You don't necessarily have to buy a domain name, although we do recommend that you get a domain name, but you don't have to. You can get a free one. They'll host it for you. Or yeah, they'll host it for you. And you can get a free YouTube channel that you can then embed videos onto your website. You can get a free Facebook channel. You can get a free Twitter channel, a free Instagram. You can get a free TikTok. You can get a free what's the other ones out there that people are using now?
Tumblr?
Discord, and yeah, I don't even know, Pinterest. You can get all of these different platforms that are completely free. Some of you guys are spending your time on these platforms anyway. You're on there anyway.
Scrolling.
Go look at your screen time and see how much time you spent on Facebook, how much time you spent on YouTube, how much time you spent on Hulu watching somebody else's advertisements pop up and giving them click-through rates. You need to worry about your click-through rate. So, just the same way that God created each piece individually, and then he allowed that piece to develop, and then he added the next piece on top of that. He couldn't there would be no animals on land had he not separated the water from the land and created dry land. So this is your opportunity as a real estate investor to create some dry land for yourself. Create some dry land for yourself. There's virtual real estate out here that you can take claim of right now. You can get your username on YouTube. And if you're watching this, I want you to stop and do that right now. If you don't have a YouTube channel for your investing business, you need to start. Like, you don't need to do anything. You need to do whatever you want to do. I suggest that you stop right now and go and get your username. Okay? I suggest that you stop right now and think about some ways to reach out to people in your local market. And here's a couple of tips that you can use. You can make a video literally just saying, "Hi, I'm so and so with this XYZ business, and I'm looking for investment properties in the San Antonio, Texas area." Boom, video posted. Then you can go and make another one. "Hey, I'm looking for properties in the blank subdivision of San Antonio, Texas." And then you do another one and another one. "Hey, if you have a property within 5 miles of XYZ High School in San Antonio, Texas, and you're looking to sell it, I would love to buy it." Just keep making those videos. Yes, in the beginning, they might suck. In the beginning, no one may watch them. But guess what? The more you post them, the more that you're consistent with it, the more that people are going to watch it. Your name is going to get known. And before you know it, when you call someone, or actually you won't even have to call someone, but when you do call them, they're going to know who you are. They're going to say, "Oh, you're that guy whose video I keep seeing popping up in my shorts feed." Yes, that's me. That's who you want to be. I want to be the guy. We want to be the people that pop up in your short feed so much that you know who KV Wealth Builders is. You know Ken and Vonnie, KV Wealth Builders, and that we're your go-to source to get motivation and to get strategy and training on real estate investing. We want to be those people for you. And we want you to learn how to be the people that can do the task for the people that you're looking to help out. Now, I know I made that sound very, very easy. And I know that there are some people out there who are going to say, "Well, I'm not photogenic, and I don't really know if I want to be the face of my business, and I don't really know if I want people knowing who I am," and all of those other things, right?
And we've been there. We literally have been there. We literally have said all of those things at least once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't want to be the face. But really, when we kept going back and around with this conversation, was why not? What are you concerned about? Because whatever you're concerned about probably doesn't make, it probably doesn't make a lot of sense. We found that to be true for ourselves, is that when we were breaking it down, that we didn't want to be the face. It's like, but what are we hiding from? Who are we hiding from? We're not hiding from anybody. So there's no reason why we can't be the face of our business. Only people who are looking to be hidden are the ones who, like, if you shiesty,
criminal, yeah.
Then maybe you should hide.
You wear a bandana on your face when you go rob a bank, you know.
But when you're willing to be open and transparent, there's no reason to hide. What am I hiding in the darkness for when I don't have to, because I'm not doing anything that I should not be doing. I'm honorable in the things that I do, so I don't have to hide behind a screen or a mask, or like the guy from Home Improvement. I don't know. I'm sorry, it's a really
hide behind the fence.
For us millennials out there, you always never see the face, and it's like we don't have to live like that.
No, and I feel like you're gonna show your face somewhere, regardless.
You'll show your face when you roll up to their house. You possibly.
Well, even outside of that, right? If the one thing that holds you back is the fact that you don't want to show your face, what do you do when you go to work? When you're working at 9 to 5,
you show your face.
You show your face. Because if you don't show your face, guess what? You don't get paid. Your name don't go on that paycheck.
Your boss.
You'll do that for your boss, and you'll do that for someone else's business. We'll do that to go in and make the meager pennies that they're going to pay you for your time, which is not adequate. I don't care how much money you're making at a job, is not adequate for the amount of knowledge that you have, right? They're only paying you enough to make you not leave. But you'll show your face for that. You'll happily go in there. Maybe not happily.
Maybe not happily.
But definitely go in there and show your face to get that paycheck. What's the difference between showing your face in at someone else's job versus showing your face on your platform to build your brand?
You know what it for me it was a lack of confidence.
Mm.
It was the lack of confidence in myself. It was the lack of confidence. Am I going to know what I'm talking about? What if they know I don't know what I'm talking about? Like, but the reality is that you know more than what the person that's listening to you knows. And so the reality is that you know, there's been several deals in the beginning. I mean, shoot, who knows if we wouldn't run across something today that we had to research. We had to go back, and every single step it was a research because it was new in the moment for us. So as you do, you're going to gain more confidence. So what I can say is that the person that you're asking, hey, person that I want to purchase your home from you, you know how to purchase a house, and if you don't, you know where to go to do it.
Yeah.
So you still know more than they do. So if it's a lack of confidence, I've been there.
Yeah, and the only way to get past that lack of confidence is to continue to do the things that you need to do, and eventually that lack of confidence will start to go away, because you only lack confidence because you don't believe in yourself, right? You don't believe in your ability to do the things that you're saying that you're going to do. You haven't become the person that can do the things that you need to do. But if you're intentional about becoming that person, the confidence comes along with it. It's a byproduct. It's like you can't have one without the other. There are certain elements that are made in this world. The byproduct of me breathing is the carbon dioxide that comes back out of my mouth. But I don't have to think about it. I don't have to know that I'm making it, but it's being made, and then it's serving a purpose too. So the confidence that's gonna come from you studying, from you continuing to build your knowledge on local real estate laws and federal real estate laws as well. That's gonna help you to build up that confidence. And the more that you do deals, the more confident you're gonna become. The most confident people that you talk to in the world are the people who've been doing things for 20, 30 years. And they're only confident because they've seen enough downside to know that the downsides don't even downside. And when it's up, it's really up. So
Well, shoot, some of them like when the market is down.
Yeah, because it means more money for them.
They understand the strategies that they're going to be able to do, and the way that they're going to be able to pivot, and the wins that they're going to be able to win.
Yep.
So when you think it's down, for somebody else it's up, and when it's up, but it's not always up for the person that doesn't know how to pivot from it being down.
Exactly. Another thing that was very, very eye opening from Genesis chapter 1 was God's level of what was the word? It's just slipped my mind.
I love the fact that he was so precise, that it was a strategic design. It was building blocks. It was organized. If I'm not saying, if we were to sit here and redesign what he did, the level of thought is just out of the world. Like, I mean, it is so meticulous. It's like, okay, after he separated, okay, well, now that I've separated, the waters, and after he separated the light from the darkness, he gave us a greater light and a lesser light. You know what I mean? And then he not only did he give us the lesser light, but during the lesser light, he gave us all these beautiful stars to look at. Like, I mean, he made it a canvas.
Yes.
And it's just the most beautiful thing. So it's like, even though it's dark, but we still got light.
And it's a living canvas. It's a living piece of master piece.
And okay, I don't want to get too off track, but so the thing that always really awed me in the space, if you will, is the fact that the moon and the sun are the same size in the sky, but they're very different, right? Because because of that, we get the beautiful full oh, what am I thinking? The on the moon and the sun.
Oh, the eclipse.
Thank you. Golly. The eclipse, because there's another full eclipse coming in another couple of months close to us, and I'm thinking about I want to go. But when I saw the full eclipse and the idea that God created this in such a way for us to have this miraculous show in the sky, it was the most awing thing. It was like the moon, because of the moon's exact size and the exact distance from us, from Earth, and the sun being its size and its specific distance from the Earth, make it look like the same size. And because they look like the same size, they can equally go right over each other and make that eclipse that who's to say is happening anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the design of it, because he was meticulous about his design and giving us a show every single time you turn around, there's something amazing happening.
You're right. He was meticulous, and that shows the level of preparation that was already in place. You know,
because if you've never seen a full eclipse, it's something you just have to see.
Yeah.
Like I just like if you could find a place that's close to go and experience, it is definitely something you want to experience.
That's true. That's true.
Sorry, I didn't want to get too.
No, you're good. You're good. But you gave me time to think about what I was going to say originally, which was it was God's level of delegation. I really thought it was interesting the way that he delegated creation.
Mm-hmm.
Not just so in the first day he spoke it, but if you watch it, it says Spirit of God was over the waters.
Yeah.
Over the face of the deep, right? But then when you go and you start hearing that there's the spirit of the wind and spirit of the rain and spirit of this, and it's like, oh, that's delegation. He's delegating all of these tasks out to all of these different entities, if you would, to bring
other creation.
Yes.
It's no different than, ChatGPT in a sense. Okay, don't hold me. I'm not saying it's a spirit, but what I am saying is God used automation. God used automation, and it's apparent, like you said, like he told the earth
to bring forth the creepy crawly thing,
and he told the water, bring forth this. He told the land, bring forth this, and it's like, so God used automation. So I'm inclined.
Even in the beginning when he watered everything from the bottom, like
he did,
like that was delegation. That was like he had it on a timer. You know, we thought we invented the automatic irrigation system, but God already had the automatic irrigation system. We just copied.
The thing is there's nothing new under the sun. Nope. You know what I mean? It's already been done. It's just been done a little bit different, but it's still been done. So the thing is, it's like, utilize your automation when you can. Automate, delegate. I would say automate first if you can in your business, then you want to delegate.
Yeah.
Okay, so automate everything you can automate. Delegate comes after you. If you can't automate it, delegate it. Okay, and that's a higher level. That might not be for the beginner, brand spanking new.
Well, it depends.
But yeah,
it depends. Right. Because if you like us, we're husband and wife duo. So there are things that Bunny is naturally better at, and there are things that I'm naturally better at. So when it comes down to it, we don't have to delegate necessarily, but there are things that are naturally delegated between the two of us because one is her strong point, one is my strong point. There's tons of people out there who have partners, whether that be your significant other or just your business partner, that you have delegation going on right now with just one or two people. And you can delegate with your family members. You can delegate with
your kids.
With your kids.
We got teenagers, so don't think things cannot be delegated to them.
We delegated right now. They're watching the toddler while we're down here making our video in the office. So there's delegation happening right now. You don't see it, but there's some delegation going on right now. You might hear the little footsteps up above our head, but it's powerful because God already showed us how to do this for our business. So and check this out, right? So everything starts with a clear goal, right? God created God separated the light from the dark. He lit up his canvas so that it could be seen what he was working on. Now he could have created everything in the darkness.
Yeah.
But he lit it up and made it and made a clear picture. So that way when he looked back and he saw that it was good because it was already illuminated. You know, he laid a solid foundation. He then brought forth the land. He separated the water from the land and he created the dry land. That was and then he added vegetation, all of the herbs and the trees.
Could you imagine if he did it backwards? How that would even look? I mean, you
like
get
what
what I'm
we
saying?
have
Like,
the animals and everything sending off like
what
y'all
if
stay over here to the side on nothing.
Yeah, like what?
Floating around in the void.
Yeah, like what if he decided to make all the creatures, make the water, make all this before he even?
Okay, what's this right here? Okay, this is a fish. I'm gonna
Hold
need
on,
to make some water to put that in.
I'm gonna move these pieces.
It's like, but here's the thing though. Is that not what we do in our life?
Yeah.
Like we will go buy the fish before we buy the fish tank.
You got the fish in a bowl.
Yeah.
In your.
Talking about something, yeah, just waiting to get a tank for it.
Like, but when you make it, so I think the thing that I'm hearing like in this is that preparation. It's the preparation, right? So it's having the vision boards. It's having, it's so funny. As Ken used to be like, we should do a vision board, and I would just not want to do no vision board. Like I would just be like, I mean, we're really
still trying to get us to do that.
I want to do the vision board. So, but for a long time, I was just so anti vision board. But I was like, oh, that just seemed like a whole lot. He kind of created vision boards and stuff. And looking back, like, how much better would it have been had we sat down and wrote out a plan? See, here's the problem. You want to have a plan, but you don't want to write the plan, right? But then every single time you turn around, you have to recreate this plan because you never wrote it out. You don't even half remember what the plan was. So it's like
I've forgotten more plans than I ever.
We'd have had some killer plans.
Yep.
That I couldn't tell you to this day, because we never completed it because it was a figment.
Yep. And again, we live in a technology-driven age where we think, okay, well, I'll just voice record it, and that's good. I do believe in voice recording and all those things. No. But what I learned is that a voice recording is so easy to not go back and listen to.
If you don't go back and put it on paper,
it doesn't matter.
Have some check marks saying that, oh, this I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. And then on certain days, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna check it out. Like we had the thing where we're doing the 12-week year. So our thing is our years are 12 weeks, so they're quarterly. So that was it. But I remember when we were coming up with it was all over. And if you haven't yet made your vision board or your plan, make the plan so it makes sense. So it makes your work make sense.
And then put it somewhere where you're gonna see it. Okay. I don't care if it's a sticky note. Look, I am the king of sticky notes. I got sticky notes all over the place. I got a stack of sticky notes sitting right here.
Literally. Sitting on the desk.
Y'all. Stuff on it, like just all kinds of random stuff on these sticky notes, right? You can't really see them, but I'm gonna have more. I'm about to put some more sticky notes up. Bunny don't know this yet, but she's finding out now. The back of our door in our bedroom is about to have some more sticky notes up because there's certain things that I need to see when I wake up in the morning, and I need to have that reminder every single morning. So like I need to be reminded every single morning that I am to get up and become the person that I need to become. Because otherwise I'll get up and I am the person that I think I need to be for the world. We get caught up with the mundane everyday things of life. We get caught up with worrying too much about other people's things to where we don't worry about our things enough. And sometimes those could be a detriment to you and to the people that you love. Any parent out there, if you spend more time focused on your children than you do on building yourself, it could be a detriment to you and your children, right? Because at the end of the day, they have to learn how to do the things that they need to do to become the people that they got to become, but not at the cost of you becoming the person that you got to become. So there has to be a balance of that, and you have to be able to remind yourself of that.
I think it's leading from the front. I think that when you lose yourself with like what the kids got going on and all of this and running around and everything, and you're losing yourself in the mundane day-to-day thing, it's like you're not necessarily leading from the front because you're not showing them how it looks to get it done. So now it becomes, I'm telling you, do as I say, not as I do. And really the most effective is, look at me, I'm your example, and I'm going to show you the way to go.
Yeah, and how to get things done for yourself so that you can be self-sufficient. And so, which is really good because that it brings us into the next step, right? So we talked about, setting clear goals. That's the light. That's God created, in day one, he made the light. Setting a firm foundation, created the land, gave us vegetation, all of those things. And then progressively adding to your investments. Now, this came from the ideal of when God created man, he gave man dominionship over everything. And then he said, be fruitful, multiply, subdue the earth, and populate it, right? That's our goal. Our goal is to progressively add to our investment. There was never a case where we were told not to do that, where we were told not to add to our investment. The whole purpose of us living next to living and seeking after God is to be fruitful. We are to be fruitful. And what does the fruit do? A fruit's whole job is to multiply. It's not to be eaten by you. That just happens to be something that we do to the fruit because that is part of our survival. But the fruit's job is to multiply. It's to create seeds, die, and multiply. That's what they do.
Make more trees. Yep. Or make more whatever it is. It's make more of its own kind. So it's I'm gonna use an apple because that was the thought I was having, was an apple. But you have an apple, and we don't know how many seeds are in the apple, and how many trees will grow from the seeds that are in the apple.
Yeah. I think it's because we can count the number of seeds in the apple,
but we can't
count the number of apples in the seed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's like, I mean, and you really learn a lot by just gardening. Like I've learned a lot watching you garden, and even helping out a little bit. Like even with just tomatoes, like you open up a tomato and it's got little tiny little tomato this big, have 100 seeds in it.
Probably more than that sometimes.
Probably, and you don't think anything of it, but those seeds are there so that it can multiply.
And now you're talking about that one tomato could produce 100 plants that could then produce each 1,000 more tomatoes. Depending on the type of the variety of tomato. We're talking about cherry tomatoes. I mean, like a cherry tomato plant in the season can easily produce you, 500 or more individual tomatoes. And from that, if one of them fall to the ground, you can have a whole garden full of tomatoes next year.
We had a place where we lived at, and the garden kind of got unruly. And we had left some of the tomatoes down, and I'll tell you what, that backyard had tomatoes galore the next summer. It was so many stuff just growing all over the place. And you don't think anything of it because we were just throwing them out. We'll toss that one or whatever. And the next thing you knew, we had tons of tomatoes.
Yeah.
So it was made to multiply. The plus side is that when we eat it, that's how we expose the seeds. Because we've got tomatoes that are from last summer that we ain't do anything with. Okay, it's literally one sitting out in the garage.
Still alive.
It's still alive, y'all.
Right. I'm actually, I left it there because I'm a plant it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. So it still looks just as, and you're like, man, but that's been months, and I was shocked. Okay, I was.
Anywhere else, it would have rotted.
Yeah. Yep. But it was in a perfect place, in a condition that it could be contained, I guess you will.
Yeah, it's just sitting on top of the dirt. It's sitting on top of some dirt in the garage, and I put all the tomato plants in because I was gonna try to keep them alive, and I didn't. They died, and that one tomato just.
But that one tomato is gonna get us how many plants?
Oh yeah, it's gonna restart our crop.
Yeah,
and it was a really good tomato.
It was
one that we really like, so it's perfect. But again, so in the ideal of that, being fruitful, like in your business, be fruitful. you know, it said that he created each after its kind, right? So the birds created more birds. The beasts of the ground created more beasts on the ground. You know, and
Man makes more man.
man makes more man. And so your investments can make more investments. Yep. That's true. That's true. And your and you know 3 upstairs, but then those 3 can turn into 9 real quick.
And
then
so
before
true.
You know
because if they each had 3,
yep,
then that is 9.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, at 3 we got. I mean, that's not that many. So when you think about it, like, oh, it's 3 kids, but yeah, your 3 kids have 3 kids, and then those 3 kids have 3 kids. But what if everybody have 3 kids?
Yeah.
By the time,
and that's just the 3 upstairs. So I mean, technically we got 5. So if you know, now we talking about 15 kids, 15 grandkids potentially if each of them had 3. So you know, God is a God of multiplication. Like he
don't add.
Multiplies.
He don't add, y'all. He multiply.
And so in your business, you need to be figuring out how to multiply. How do we make our business grow? How do we make it multiply? How do we make our investments grow? You know, Monopoly is a really good learning experience for your real estate because you know, you get the 3 greenhouses, you upgrade it for a hotel. You know, how many single family homes are you trying to get?
Yeah.
Each one after its kind. So your single family homes, the income from those single family homes, instead of blowing that money, use that money to buy more single family homes. And when you get a multifamily project, use that income to buy more multifamily projects. And when you get a commercial project, you use that money to build to acquire more commercial properties. And each one after its kind, and before you know it, you've multiplied well beyond what you saw in the vision in the beginning.
Yeah. Well, God, I mean, I can't remember exactly where it's at, but it talks about expanding your territory. So at no point are we supposed to be stagnant. Nobody likes still water. Still water is dirty. It's like one of the dirtiest waters. You want it to be flowing. You want to have income flowing in, and it flows out. But stagnant water, there's no flow. It's just still. Who wants to drink out of pond water?
Yeah, that's true.
Nobody. Okay. If the Dead Sea is dead because there's only one thing flowing in, but there's no flowing out.
It's a trash repository.
So with that being said, you got to be able to grow, but you need to have flow of income coming in as you putting out, coming in, putting out, coming in, putting out.
And the reason why we feel more than qualified to talk about this is because we've been on the receiving end on both ends of the spectrum, right? We've been the people who got some deals and then stopped doing any work because life was good for the time frame, and then we had to ramp up our business to try to get back going. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes ramping back up is harder than starting off in the first place.
It's the momentum.
Yep, because you get to that point where you think that you knew something, and if you aren't willing to open your eyes, remove the veil, and be able to see something new and different, or see it in a different light, you'll find yourself trying to do what made you successful the last time, and find out that what got you there won't keep you there. It won't keep you where you want to be at, because it worked 4 years ago when you did it, but it don't work now. You know, so you don't want to be the people who allow yourself to get stagnant. And again, the best way to do that is through this idea, right? Through this divine process. This is a divine process that God laid out for us in Genesis chapter 1. I want you all, please go back and read it for yourself. Please go back and read it for yourself. You know, I've read it in the NIV, the King James, the Geneva Bible. I'm going to start doing a word comparison because I'm really interested in how it all began, because the creation process is the same as the success process. God showed us how to be successful. He looked at it and saw that it was good. That was a success. That means that 6 days out of 6 days, God had success. He never once looked and said that it was a failure. even when he saw that it wasn't good for man to be alone, it wasn't a failure. It was part of a process, right? It was a process for Adam to go through all of the animals and name them to find out that there was no suitable mate for him. So that when God brought about a suitable mate for him, there was no question on whether or not this was the person for him.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's all part of a process, and that process requires, a creation cycle. You lay the foundation, you populate create the you come up with a plan first, then you lay the foundation, then you populate the foundation that you made, and then you reflect and you rest, and that's the way that he did it.
Mm-hmm.
He created, he came up with the plan, he laid the foundation, he populated, he reflected on it, saw that it was good, and then on the last day he rested.
Yeah, and what he didn't do was saw it was good and then try to recreate it.
Yep.
So I think, and that goes back to how many. I'm talking to somebody here. I don't know who you are exactly, but I know that there's someone out here who looked back, saw it was good, and then recreated it.
Yep.
And then you recreated it, and then you had a struggle to get the momentum on that because you keep changing your ideas and there's no flow. So you're looking back and you're like, change it up, change it up. Look back, I'm gonna change it up. It's like, but it was good. If it's good, reduplicate it. Just duplicate it and do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again because it is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But keep reflecting back on it to make sure that it's still good.
And again, you can make minor tweaks. Minor tweaks are okay, but like what Vonnie saying is like, don't recreate the process. Don't redo something that's already working. And with the exception of modifying something to fit you. Now that's okay. This thing is okay for you to modify something to fit you. We tell you to do something and what we tell you don't fit you. Because here's the thing, right? One of the things we learned with real estate wholesaling is that everybody has their own strategy.
Mm-hmm.
You have these people who are they're the angry investor. They call you up and they try to force you into selling your house to them.
The bullies.
And that's not us.
Nope.
That's not us by a long shot. So when it comes down to me watching someone and they're giving me negotiating tips and strategies that work for them, yeah, that works for you, but I have to modify that a little bit because I don't want to be the person that calls people up and say those words.
Because you're not naturally that person.
Yes.
So I'm not naturally going to be, so you going to sell the house? I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm not, but I would love to have I would love to talk to you about it.
Yep.
But I'm not going to say, well, your house falling apart and it looks like trash. Like, I'm not going to say those things. And I honestly don't think with the certain attitudes, I really don't think that you have to approach it in that manner. So I think find someone that makes sense for who you are to follow. Don't follow the person that is negative. That's evil. I don't know how to put it. I was actually, next week I might bring up Proverbs, because I was in Proverbs earlier today, and it had some really good stuff talking about not following the wicked, because the wicked is violent. They're, they take things a different approach, and that they're cursed, they're not blessed. But I'll bring that up. That'll be a good one for next week. That's, I think, Proverbs chapter 3. So find the person that makes sense for you, but make sure you find the person that's doing the right thing. Sometimes you could do the wrong thing and still get a good result. Doesn't make it the right thing.
That is so true. That is so true.
So,
well, on that, people, we are gonna bring this call to the end. I want to thank you guys for joining us on this live stream today. We pray that each and every one of you were able to take something from this video. And if there are questions that you have, definitely want to hear from you. So write it in the comments so that we can address them on some of our future calls. If you do not get the reminders of these video Zoom calls, we do them every Saturday at 2:30. But you can go into YouTube and set the notification bell to remind you when we go live. Okay, you want to follow and you want to set the notification bell so that it reminds you when we go live. As the year progresses on, we're going to start digging into some actual specifics about real estate investing, real estate wholesaling, real estate fix and flip, private money lending, and the whole gambit of information that you need to know as real estate investors. But we feel that, you know, these first couple of weeks of the new year, it was essential for us to really kind of drill home the mindset portion of this, because if your mindset isn't right, nothing else is going to follow.
Make sure you also are following us on Facebook. Join KB Wealth Builders. Join our group. That's a great way to start to get connected. That's a great place to get connected with us, to ask your question. If you're looking for mentorship, any of those things, definitely check us out on Facebook and connect with us there, or connect with us in the comments on right below us.
Yep.
Do the little point.
And we do have limited one-on-one mentorship available, but it is limited, and you want to make sure that you get on that as soon as possible, because once we're done, we're done for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, because let me just preface this with saying, it's like, we love you guys and we want to help you. We want to be able to be there with you side by side, but we got life happening as well, and so we can literally only take a certain amount of people.
Yeah.
So that we are able to pour in appropriately. So, and then, I mean, be honest, like, things are always changing. So get on while you can.
Yep. And that goes the same for our group mentorship as well. We are going to be dropping a group mentorship program. So definitely you want to set your notifications so that you can be alerted about that.
Yeah, don't delay.
Don't forget to grab your copy of the upcoming book, Think and Grow Rich in Real Estate. This is going to be a mind-blowing book that's going to really help you to propel your real estate investing career forward. If you've read the original Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, you know that he dropped a lot of information in that book to really help any entrepreneur. We wrote a version of the book that is just for real estate investing, and we think that it is going to be a powerful tool for anyone, regardless of what niche in real estate investing you're looking to get into, from agents to fix and flip investors to wholesalers to maybe even the title companies. So whatever it is that you do, you definitely want to make sure that you get the notified when the book is ready. You can ask us about pre-orders if you want, and we'll get you that information as well. And we're going to close on a prayer.
Okay, love it.
Lord God, we thank you for your awesome creation, Lord. We thank you for the story that you gave us in Genesis chapter 1, Lord, and we thank you for the fact that you put so much information into Genesis chapter 1 that we can use not only in our business life, but in our personal life, in our home life, Lord. And you gave us all of the knowledge so that if we didn't make it to chapter 2, Lord, that we already had a firm foundation to build upon, Lord. We thank you for the insight and the wisdom that you provided us with. You created us in your likeness, and because of that, we know that we have the creativity and we have the vision and the ability to bring forth new creations out of the creations that you gave us, Lord. You gave us the building blocks, and we just ask that you make us into potters and builders that are able to take the resources that you've already provided us with, Lord, and build an empire that is holy and yielded to you in your kingdom, Lord. As we continue to seek out ways to take dominionship and to be fruitful in this life, Lord, we pray that you will guide us, that you will light our steps, Lord, and that you will speak to us, each and every one of us, Lord, and show us how to use our business, Lord, in a way that is pleasing to you and in a way that is beneficial to our family, Lord. We are all here with the ideal of creating generational wealth, so that we may leave a portion for our children's children, Lord. And we just thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to come together again on this Saturday, Lord. And we pray that you will keep each and every one of us covered in the blood of Jesus Christ as we walk through this next 7 days, Lord, until we all meet again. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.